That's another one. I had Tani come visit and sit next to me on the sofa one day and pick up my hand and hold it, and held my hand for 5 minutes. Could I see her? No. Could I feel her? Most definitely. We have had the Ponte visit, and we've picked them up in various ways. Have we seen them? Several times, but we've also seen parts of them. And what I mean by that is, I sit with a tray table in front of me that I often have my art pencils on. And one evening, I saw a hand from about the wrist down to the fingertips brush against the top of my art tray table and be gone. And it was not an earth human hand. But that's all I saw. Other times we have seen, they have information storage devices that are about a rectangle about yay by yay. And they are clear, what look like clear glass or clear plastic, lightweight, and slip into somebody's pocket. But when the Ponte press them, it's like pressing an iPad, and information comes up onto the surface of this glass pad. We have seen those glass pads turn on and light up in our living room several times. One time I saw it, and it must have been in someone's pocket of a uniform or a way to carry it. It was low to the ground, and so when they walked, you could see the steps, but the glass pad had turned on. And I saw them take 2 or 3 steps, and then a hand turned it off. We've seen it turn on. I had one day where I had the rectangle of the glass pad turn on about 10 inches from my thigh on the sofa itself. And the minute it turned on, somebody immediately turned it back off. And so have we witnessed that kind of, well, we see part of a hand or we see part of a person? Yes.
And I've had experiences with visitations from the Ponte that were not physical, in the sense of being able to see, but they were definitely there from my other auditory senses. And for example, one time in my apartment, early in the morning, I could hear a few people. I knew it was more than one. I knew it was more than two. It was 3. And I could hear them coming up my staircase, my ladder into my loft, and then I felt someone behind me, and they rested their hand on my shoulder and just to let me know that they were there, and I knew it was a Ponte. And then I found out the next morning from Sue that that morning that it was a craft of it was a female craft, and they came by to say hello to me. Another time, in my condo, I woke up one morning. I wasn't awake. I was in the process of waking up, and I wasn't dreaming, and I wasn't asleep, but I felt 5 sets of hands resting on me. One on each leg, two at the bottom, one on my hands, and the one that was resting their hands like that was going like this. And I felt, and I heard them. One of them saying telepathically, "Oh, he's not quite awake yet." And then I heard their feet like really fast moving. It sounded like water hitting a tin roof. I could hear this telepathically going on. And then I heard them in the corner of my room, because I had my didgeridoo leaning against the wall, and I heard it grinding against the wall.
Oh, they moved it.
They moved it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. But at the same point, I also felt their emotions, and the emotion that I was sharing with them was this emotion of your family. And I'll never forget that emotion.
That's nice.
But the hands that were going like that.
Yeah.
And I've had other star nations too, where the same interactions happen, where it's physical, where I can't see them, but I feel them.
Yes.
I feel them, and you can feel them resting. One time, Thera, she visited me, and she just, because she knew I was feeling sad, and she just kind of sat on my lap and rested her head against my head and just held me in her arms. She wrapped her arms around my neck and held me, and I cried in our arms.
Aw.
Yeah.
The Ponte have told us that when they come to our homes to visit, they will usually choose a part of the house that people don't use very often to either enter into the house or hang out in to observe you. Let me give you a for instance. The most common room that the Ponte enter into a home is the bathroom. And they do that for several reasons. One, nobody uses the bathroom except when they absolutely have to. So they aren't there. And most people will go into the bathroom, do whatever it is they need to do, and exit. And most of the time that room is unoccupied. It's often on an outside wall because it needs to vent smells and other things, moisture, and it's easy to track because all the plumbing focuses in and you can follow where the plumbing goes to a single room. All right. It's easy to hide out in a bathroom when nobody is around and remain undetected in an Earth Human home. At our house, we mostly go in and out of the house through the garage and don't often use the entrance of the front door. Okay. We do if we have to go get the mail, or if somebody comes to the house, they'll ring the doorbell at the front door. But for the most part, we don't hang out in the entryway of the front door, and it's usually dark. When the Ponte visits, sometimes they will come and hang out in the dark entryways so that they can observe what's going on in the living room area where we spend the majority of our time. So it's a dark space where they can quietly observe without being interrupted or having people walk past and bump them, kind of thing.